Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready for game number 2, John. Carry the Boats versus Outlast. These are also 0-1 teams. Whoever loses this will, I think, actually pretty surprisingly already be down 0-2.
Given how competitive they kept things against Osiris, and then for Outlast it was SSG Academy, it really does seem a little odd that these two teams are kind of fighting to stave off elimination. And given how well they both played in those best-of-1 matches, this game should still be pretty darn close no matter where we go to in terms of the map for this best-of-1 series. And both teams also not really having a lot of, major problems like we saw in the previous two teams of Sway and FMG. Both these teams kind of understand how the game works to a pretty large extent.
Yeah, they've got plenty of experienced players,
Right.
Though less so on Outlast. The most experienced guy on that roster is Hitman, and I think Weston has been around T3 for quite a bit, but like Mike W, Bay, and I'm blanking on the last player. Mike W, Bay, Moses. Chosen, he's been around for a bit, but he's never been in Challenger League. Neither has Weston. Only Hitman has been there. So they were talking to me. They were saying, we should have had that against SSGA. And I thought they were going to have it too. I thought my prediction was about to be wrong. He said he thinks that like really nerves just kind of got the better of them. But now they're coming in with the mindset, play to win. Don't play to not lose. And maybe we'll see an upset against CTV.
Although they've got a pretty stacked roster, which we'll go and take a look at. And for their best-of-1 matchup on Oregon against Osiris, one of the key standout points to make about them, especially on their first half of the defense, was how willing they were to play pretty much across the entire map just for the sole purpose of looking for opening picks in under the first minute. They weren't necessarily trying to have these very elaborate extensions. 9 times out of 10, they were just looking to use the full map to their advantage of working for gunfights. And if that was successful, they would then fall off and play for numbers to slow down any kind of execute. And really, there were only 2 moments where that just completely backfired. And in those moments, people like Arrow Fens would just catch somebody by surprise as they were kind of moving around in the bomb site. They would hit a massive play of finding 1 or 2 kills, getting back the man advantage for their opponents of Osiris, and giving them a couple of round wins on the attack, which a 4-2 split when you're looking at Oregon with, CTB on the defense, that's pretty normal. That's as default as you get, besides maybe a 3-3.5. But yeah, because of those 2 impact plays, that gave more wiggle room for Outlast on their defensive half, or not Outlast, sorry, Osiris on their defensive half. My mistake. And what carried the Boats not having that successful of an attacking half on their own, it kind of bit them.
And it goes back to their play style, right? Where they play a little individualistically. They don't scrim that often. They're playing more just to kind of pug it. I think Wimpy said they've only scrimmed like 5 times. They're top 3 on defense because they're 5 talented players. It's a lot easier to play like that on defense. Out of 6 attacking rounds, though, they only won 1. It went to full 12, and even though they started 4-2 up, that's why they ended up losing. They were only able to take 1 round on their attack. So Outlast, that's something that they're going to try to exploit. As we can take a look at their roster, I already ran through them just a little bit, but just to reiterate, we've got Hitman, Moses, previously known as Chosen, Mike W, Weston, and Bay. So last time we saw them, they did play with a sub. They had space. Now they've got their full 5. Weston's back, and they're feeling confident. Their rating, not necessarily the greatest. Last time they played up against SSGA, as we discussed, it went all the way to overtime, but Hitman was the only member of that team positive. He was dropping double digits kills, and he was kind of the face of consistency, really the only one who was pretty consistent. But towards the end of the game, he started getting picked off really early, and the rest of his team couldn't corral the win.
Yeah, although the stats would like to paint a different picture, things were close almost throughout the entire best-of-1 until we really got to overtime between Outlast and SSG Academy, where you saw everyone in SSG ACAD focusing on the guy Solar for round number 13 with the help of, I believe it was Ascends, then Amara was going up that little hatch by like the mudroom area of Big Garage, someone's holding the cutoff angle by Solar. So you've got like 3 or 4 people focusing on just one guy, and after that, you're right next to the bomb site because it's dining room, and you still have someone watching your flank, technically speaking, on the players who could still be upstairs. So with everyone, focusing on just one person and kind of playing off that momentum, they win that round. And then it was round number 14 where Mohesi just had the perfect timing in the world to kill those 2 guys by Ivy / like that little window near like the library area part of the map / blue stairs. If there was someone looking at him, that could have maybe have been a 1-for-1 trade at best, but no, it was just 2 double kills for Mohes, and then you got a 5-on-3 to play the rest of the defensive round. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Indeed. And we got to find out where we're going, John. Now, fun fact, just like the last game, neither of these teams really shared that many bans. They didn't even have one. They banned 8 completely different maps. So I don't really know where we're going to go. Of course, Carry the Boats lost on Oregon. Outlast lost on Chalet. And they're both still available heading into the final 3 bans. Villa gone. It's going to come down to Oregon or Chalet. And Outlast have the final ban. Are they going to try and repeat Chalet because they had so much success, or take the weaker map? They do opt to repeat. It's a risky strategy considering how much footage there is of them. It was a long, grueling 14-round game. Now, they might be kind of relying on the fact that Carry the Boats might not do really that much prep. Still a risk, though, nonetheless.
I think that is the idea by Outlast, is maybe figuring out, okay, maybe Carry the Boats isn't going to be putting as much effort into what they're expecting map-wise, and they might be hoping just to play Oregon again despite losing it just earlier this week. So maybe having Chalet on the board could actually be advantageous for Outlast, but they did still have a couple of issues when playing on that map against SSG Academy. And by now, with Chalet being a much older map, people kind of just know how to play it from just a default perspective, especially when you have almost an entire roster of former pro players one way or another. But either way you slice it, Harrison, we've obviously decided to go with the underdog, it seems, just based off of predictions. But I think that has to do with a lot of, preparations and how willing Outlast is to improve. And also just because they still did really well against SGA Cat.
Yeah, they almost beat them. They maybe should have. I have faith in the nerves comment. I think it's a true statement from Mike W that I was talking to, that they're going to be a lot more solid in this game. They looked good on Chalet last time. They just got to review some stuff. And John, something we haven't actually told our audience yet, Sweater is not playing.
Oh,
Sweater is absent. Now, if we go back to their previous game that they played on day 2, when they lost 7-5 to Osiris, Sweater was their top frag. He was 13-8. Spiker not far behind at 10-10. They were the only 2 on double digits. And instead, they're having their coach, quote unquote coach, Giddy, play. And I know he doesn't really play Siege all that much anymore, I don't believe. But I mean, no matter who he was subbing for, the fact that it's Sweater is a huge hit. And that's part of the reason why I think Outlast are going to be able to take this.
It also has to go with the roles that both Sweater and Giddy play. Giddy's usually more on
very different.
He's on a more supportive role in comparison to Sweater, who, like I mentioned earlier, him and along with a lot of other people on Carry the Boats were just kind of running at people on the defense. So we could really see that void not being filled to an extent, at least by Giddy. Maybe someone else on the team of Carry the Boats could do just fine, still playing a very heavy gunner role, like Spiker, who was going crazy on Solus on most rounds. But unfortunately, as I just mentioned, the operator, Solus actually has been banned by Outlast, probably seeing that there was a heavy reliance on that operator by Carry the Boats on Oregon. So they figure, let's just not deal with it. Maybe a zombie could be a better choice, who is also very good on this map. And just in general, she's really annoying to deal with.
Yeah, not only is Solus really good on this map and Carry the Boats used her a lot, but last time when Outlast played against SSG Aid, Solus was up, and they only played her once. So clearly they're not a huge fan of Solus either, figuring, you know what, we're not really taking anything away from ourselves. Let's go ahead and ban it. And they're able to have that ban, the freedom of that ban, because Carry the Boats banned Fenrir, who Outlast themselves banned in the previous play of Chalet. They banned Nook too. So it looked like they were going to do the same thing, but in Carry the Boats kind of taking that away, you free up Outlast for that ban. So already maybe a little bit of an advantage for Outlast from the ban phase. We can get right into it. It's going to be a dining defense up first from this team. None of the new operators present, of course, because Fenrir and Solus are both banned. We've got the Azami, though. She's going to be a mainstay because those other 2 are gone. Carry the Boats looked like they were going to have something cooking, but they decided for a much more conservative lineup instead.
I really was going to mention where you could potentially see that Sens, but of course that has been switched off now for a Twitch, which is going to be a pretty good counter for mostly dealing with the ADSs and also some of those mirror windows. And all right, Spiker in the first 30 seconds hops into Mudroom, and well, Wesson's just waiting for him. There's the first opener. No trade to be seen out because, again, Spiker was completely alone, looking to maybe catch somebody by surprise and getting a bit of map control early on, but it backfires, so Outlast will take away that first man advantage heading in around number 1, and it seems like we carry the boats. They're not too worried about that. They're still trying to look for this more, top to bottom focus, this dining room attack, and looking to maybe start their way over by the library side of the map, and also having someone over by the office balcony as well, just to hold some more cutoffs, and when they're prepared to, they can then maybe get into the balcony properly and either push in from Mez side or the office single door.
That was interesting entry from Spiker, but I think we're starting to see a bit how the roles are going to work out, with maybe Inrio kind of hopping on what Sweater would play before, because Inrio did used to be, that first/second entry so that Giddy can play a little more passively. But yeah, losing Spiker, you lose one set of nades. You don't have a lot of burn either for the others. I mean, you got 3 stuns from Giddy. You've got 4 smokes, but there is a Warden in play, so those smokes could hinder the attack more than they help if they end up, attempting like a smoke plant. Oh, got Bay playing in bar too, that it doesn't seem like Carry the Boats are very aware of. The breach is going to go down. Bay obviously hears that. Now he knows the wall is open. Giddy's drone comes through. It opens the wall upstairs. Yeah, Bay's missed drone, and there it is. What? Very easy kill as Wimpy just sits on his drone right outside the front door.
And with Bay's still playing over here by bar, that's a huge issue, as you can't really enter that breach anymore. And it seems like for Wimpy, he was the case player, so it also has to be recovered as well, and it's kind of in a rocky spot because of that. This is a really big issue here for Carry the Boats, as Giddy will now work his way up through piano. He might catch the frost by surprise, but no, he just narrowly misses. And if he loses gunfight, this could be completely over.
Oh, Giddy, he misses the flash too. That was his opportunity to try and go for a pop flash and get the kill. C4 goes up, misses Mr. Drip though. Nade goes in, and somehow it got stuck on the lip of the hatch, I think, so it's not going to go through. They have at least cleared out the top floor, but there's only 15 seconds left, and most of these defenders are safe on site. Bay also covering the cross from that breach. This could be a free kill onto the Twitch, and indeed it is. That's going to drop Case as well. There's almost no hope for Carry the Boats unless everyone from Outlast throws themselves at them. And Moses and Mike W end up cleaning the round. Outlast with a very convincing first win.
And it really seemed like intel was the biggest issue in the early and mid round for Carry the Boats, as Spiker had no idea someone was playing down below by the bar hallway, so to speak. There was Weston with basically a free entry kill, as no one else was there to get a trade. And after that, it was still kind of the same issue of they never really checked around the bar area of the map. So sure, Bay did miss his initial first kill that round, but after that, I mean, he still just played over by Bay. That literally sounds like some dubious communications by Outlast.
What the hell?
I literally do the same thing after pulling off a silly round play like that. But yeah, Bay killing, what was it like? Yeah, Bay killing almost like 2 to 3 people just in the same spot. Yeah, 2 people. God, learn how to count, John. Killing 2 people just by bar off the fact that Carry the Boat just did not know he was there is really surprising given Carry the Boat's roster.
That kind of speaks to them just kind of playing loose, right? Individualistic, especially on the attack. And Outlast said they were specifically for this game working on their coordinated aggression as a team to try and take advantage of the solo plays from Carry the Boats. And at least in round 1, it's worked out. Especially with Drip being the only guy to get any kills. Now Giddy's back on his sledge. They give it back to him.
There it is.
See if he does any better this round, because the Flores was not it.
He's powered up now.
Yeah.
Plenty of vertical can be done for this bomb site as well, so overall, great selection. Yeah, Spiker's got the cut, and wow. A lot of damage dealt to Mike. Yeah, but no kill, so Evilizer still intact. No way he challenges this.
Mike.
Okay. He thought better of it. That's a relief. Impact goes out.
It missed?
But it's just short somehow.
Really? Usually you get that almost every time if it's placed in the center. Very interesting that he wasn't able to. Bay coming under fire, not misdrone this time. He's down to 50 HP, and he's going to try and get out of dining. Spiker, this is an incredible cutoff from Spiker. I mean, he completely restricts Connector. Kind of interesting that they'd have this hole set up. I feel like that's kind of a misplay in the setup. Wimpy catches Moses trying to rotate past it towards the wide door as well. Now Hitman's the next to try and take a fight. He gets softened up. Carry the Vods have a pretty good advantage, not just in man count, but positionally as well.
EMP goes out on the back wall, gets opened up, and with there being no presence in here because that cutoff angle, they can just hit the site. Wimpy's got diffuser, but he's thinking on getting a kill before he tries to stick that plant, but it works for him. And I was gonna say he might think about going into snow, but that's not the right play to make. But what? Oh, they had the hatch present still, so he couldn't plant default. But why is no one up above watching the hatch then?
Yeah, they had someone on West Main before, but I guess they reallocated their man count to try and flood deep in the site, but they didn't account for blue. Strangely enough, Bay able to get 3 kills from the hatch, I think it looks like.
Yeah.
And then Hitman denying the plant from blue because nobody was watching it. Carry the boats. I mean, I get the idea. Avoid the top floor clear and flood site, but they just didn't have the right pieces in the right place.
Well, despite losing a couple bodies for free in the early round off of Carry the Boats kind of capitalizing on a small few weaknesses by the objective, they still didn't have someone on the hatch. So, yeah, they couldn't plant, and the rest of their execute just kind of flopped. Outlast get 2 round wins off of that. Now they opt to go for Bar and Gaming with Amira. So you could probably expect stock to be kind of a pain to deal with. Same thing kind of set outward as well for a position like Mez, because you've got a couple of mine magnets you can use to slow down that burn process. And at least one deployable shield. I'm a little surprised that Moses wanted to bring a bulletproof camera instead of a deployable, given the fact that you could put one by both top blue and then have one over near mezzanine to assist the Mira. But okay, I was gonna say, maybe they don't put a Mira by mezzanine. And instead they have it for a closet. That is like,
facing solar?
Yeah, I was gonna say, to stop a solar repellent, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
That's one I've not seen, if I've seen it at all in a while.
I mean, maybe they were expecting a Maru and we're hoping for like a free kill. I really don't know.
Why would you, if you were expecting a Mario, just sit in the corner?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I'm like
maybe
trying to
they
put
know
logic
they know
to it.
something we don't. They know something we don't.
But now there's no Mira for stock. That kind of sucks.
This is how Yardy attacks in ranked.
I've been watching Skittles' stream for 3 months now, waiting for this. Oh,
That's unfortunate for Bay. That's gonna be his first death too.
I know he's downed as well.
If they can get him. Oh wait, he's gonna get through the hatch. Oh, he got away.
What?
Oh, Drip's nading
Drip,
though.
please look through. Yeah. Nice
There
job.
we go. A does not get away.
And that is your Warden gone too. And basically for no utility, just a grenade. And they've already dealt now with this back wall. Although Hitman, ooh, nice shot right before the flash goes off as well, but they still push off that. The correct call to make. The Spiker will still get control of top Mez. And there's no one playing on the blue stairs right now. I don't know if he got flushed out or if it just was no one there for a second. And Moses kind of realizing that library is under wraps here by the offense. He'll have to fall a little bit farther back down below. So that's top floor control with a minute 40 to work with and the sledge alive. This is fantastic for Carry the Boats.
Spiker another kill onto none other than the smoke. Frost re-swings. Moses catches Giddy on the steps. He's worried about someone cutting off the window. Actually, nobody from Carry the Boats is over there, at least not until Drip starts to rotate around. And good thing they had that Mira facing solar, huh? He'll jump in towards coat check. Moses close on the window now, trying to play an off angle that the attack's not going to expect. Weston just under the hatch and bar. Spiker looks like he's going to start to cook a nade and send it down. He just pancakes drops and loses the fight. Drip hasn't swung in for the refright because of those feed holes. Inrio coming through, flashes out the basement and loses the fight. Weston, what a crazy shot. Leaves Drip in the 1 versus 2, and they're playing together. A smart move, trying to work for the trade and play contact. But Weston over peaks, and his head gets cut down. Moses starting to inch his way through. He's going to give Drip the fight. And now the sledge has info, but he's tucked himself towards bar stock. Drip doesn't know if he's backed off, but now the shots will reveal the Frost's position. 40 seconds still remaining. This is plenty of time for Drip to make something happen. Moses, maybe getting a little bit restless. In comes the sledge. Moses not looking at the right angle. He misses the shot, and Outlast give it away to Drip.
An unfortunate 2 versus 1 loss there for Outlast, but good playing by Drip to isolate those 2 1 versus 1s, and also the aggression in the early round just to guarantee they get library control, despite the almost hiccup that they had against Hitman, being full flash there for a little while.
Left side. I'm pretty sure it's like in between the door and the wall.
Nice!
Dirty? What was that? Sounded like a Plants vs. Zombies noise. Did you hear that?
Where's Crazy Dave when you need him?
Or someone's like, it sounded like someone's mic just like bugged out.
Yeah. Whatever.
That was almost a turnaround from Outlast though. They showed pretty good resilience. It was just that 1v2. Like I said, they just needed to play for the trade and play for the contact, but Weston overswung a little bit. I think that's what ultimately lost them the round. It looks like looks like we're having a rehost, ladies and gentlemen. Don't quite know what the issue is, but we're gonna have to rehost anyway. So what do we see in those first 3 rounds? Well, Outlast played rounds 1 and 2 pretty damn well. You know, like they said, their game plan was to take advantage of the kind of individuality that Carry the Boats plays with, and they did that beautifully well. We almost saw the same thing in round 3, but I think Outlast kind of almost fell into like the same trap where they started to overcompensate a little bit on the site. On a site like Bar, you can't really do that. There's just so many good cutoffs that the attacks can hold on you, like those library windows, like Heaven/K9, you know, Ivy, or down on site, you know, coat check, the game's window. So hopefully we see Outlast tighten up a little bit, but I really like the start they're having.
Yeah, and I'd have to say again, still playing up the individuality there for Carry the Boats. I'm not too sure if that's really going to change moving into the next couple of rounds of the first half, and still missing out on a couple of key steps, like just not timing your execute properly, like someone's just dropping the hatch when the other 2 are still setting up.
Yeah,
that seemed a little odd to me, to be honest. And like we both talked about, yeah, that rush attempt was honestly pretty good in round number 2 for Carry the Boats. It's just, again, there's a hatch that someone's playing off of that's also opened. So I think that was kind of why Wimpy initially wanted to try and maybe plant Snow after he killed that guy, but then realizing there is no one else that could cover him by Snow, he kind of reluctantly had to go back through. And then, like you talked about, that blue presence, that did allow someone to sneak in by Outlast, kill the planter, and then Bay still found a triple kill playing above. So it was kind of like the same thing almost happened, just a different way of it unfolding in front of us.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I did really like the start that Outlast have had so far. They look a lot more solid than they did up against SSGA. It definitely looks like they're playing more confidently. On the side of Carry the Boats, though, it's really just drone work. I think if they had solid drone work, I think Carry the Boats would be up, maybe even
3-0,
maybe even 3-0. Yeah, entirely possible.
Yeah, again, because round number 1 kind of fell off of Spiker walking and blind, so there's example A of the lack of info, and then Bay killing 2 by Bar / blue stairs, which they also didn't know about. So Wimpy died with Case in a really awkward, even though he did get the wall binned up, which that could have been even worse. Like, Wimpy could have died like in the first interaction between him and Bay if he had just looked up at the right time. And now the breach isn't even open. So really, now what do? You go like Bar hallway where Bay's watching that? Yeah, no, not a chance with that working out whatsoever.
Yeah. Also, by the way, I confirmed in the match chat the rehost was due to not being able to put util down.
Huh.
That's weird. A new one.
Yeah.
Never seen that one before, but you need to put util down in this game. Otherwise, it's like not being able to shoot back. Pretty much, it's on the same level. But we do have all 10 players back in lobby. We are asking for ours right now and be able to get right back into it. Just to remind everyone who, of course, because our rehost is going to reset the stats, our current top fraggers are Bay, Weston, and Drip. Bay is 5-1, Weston and Drip both 4-2, so watch out for them. Bay, of course, also too, having a way better game. When he played against SSG Academy, Bay finished 6-12, and he's already got 5 kills. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say he almost has 6, I believe.
Well done, Bay.
Might have had 6 if he was already playing tucked in the corner and didn't have to move there.
Yeah,
but it happens sometimes. You get timinged. Is what it is.
Yeah, siege timing, brutal.
It's a real
brutal
thing.
Sometimes. I think we're just waiting for Carry the Boats right now. I also didn't see. Did you see what site they were playing? Was it dining again?
I think it was dining again.
Okay, so of course, because they already loaded in the lobby, defenders are going to have to pick same site, same ops as well. I really liked their upstairs hold last time. However, I'm excited to see how differently the round shakes out now that Carry the Boats are going to be prepared for someone like lurking over towards bar. Base not just going to get 2 freebies. So maybe we actually see, like a proper top floor clear from Carry the Boats.
All depends on, of course, we were correct about it being dining room, and we are, with the lineup looking just about, if not the exact same, for Outlast and Carry the Boat so far. Kind of the same op selected by them as well. And like you mentioned, I don't think we're going to have the same like surprise attack that we witnessed back in round number 1. Hopefully a little bit more coordination and maybe just having everyone more focused on the top floor and then dealing with everyone down below as well. Because with at least having, one vertical player like Giddy on Sledge, it doesn't hurt you to push into the extension a little bit and then either hold a cutoff angle on someone by solar, so you might get a couple more free kills, or like, watching the bathroom window from the highway balcony, while also getting vertical down. So the site itself becomes a lot more challenging to defend. And pushing into this top floor extension could be a little bit easier because you have someone like Drip who's on Flores, whose primary job is to just, destroy all those deployable shields and maybe create just a little bit of space as well with those Terror drones, getting someone off a mirror window, for example, and maybe allowing his teammates to save some of those grenades. And maybe a Wimpy now on the Habana as well that could completely change where Carry the Boats begin their attacking round from, as you almost always see a Thermite or an Ace for, the wall leading in a dining room. But if you see a Habana, that might lead a little bit more towards Trophy perhaps, but, it's still plausible they just wanted to run the Habana just in case it hatches or something like that.
Yeah, Habana's still good. It kind of makes me think that they're not going to be going for a main wall execute. Maybe they go for like a trophy side thing.
That's what I was thinking.
It's because going through a Hibana breach on that wall is tough.
It's really annoying.
It's tough, especially you're going up against like a Warden and a Frost on site. You're not getting through that. Flores coming through, spotting Bay, taking care of one of those drone blockers, one of the observation tool blockers. As Carry the Boats are going for this upstairs clear, going up above towards library. Drones coming out. Giddy confirming there is nobody bar. His Bay, I think, is in sight.
Making a statement in this round, Giddy is. Maybe, I was gonna say, if there was Waldo now, he could nade from the dining wall if he shoots open the top, but that's not required. So hopefully he does not waste a frag grenade doing that and could go above once the rest of his teammates clear that out. And interestingly enough, I kind of figured this based off of people already outside a fireplace double in like 30 seconds and people pushing a library. But yeah, they're going to still go for the main wall, at least opening enough to hold an angle with those Kairos charges detonating on it. But besides that, Carry the Boats still making a lot of forward progress here on this top floor clear. They destroy the deployable shield inside of Closet, so Hitman's position is going to be a little bit weaker. But until we see some more presence by the office side of the map, yeah, he just hold this pixel and wait for something to kind of push into him. Without the help of utility or, again, someone office, he could maybe find a kill still before falling away.
He's fallen at least out of Closet. He could be exposed to Giddy holding the cut on bathroom. I'm not quite sure where Hitman went. I think they're just kind of eliminating possibilities right now. So he's holding this pixel. Now swinging out. There's a breach right there that the Flores wants to use. That's Drip. Looking to peek in. One player falls off the top floor, and Hitman lands a very nice shot onto Giddy, where he's instantly traded out. But you take out the Sledge, a C4 to follow up onto Drip. The Flores now dead. You've lost a lot of verticality, almost all of it. You at least still have a set of nades, and Inrio's got a lot of breaching power, but with only 30 seconds left, he's not really going to be able to use much of that. Looks like we were probably right, though. They're going for a trophy side execute. They're not worrying about this main wall at all. But look at Outlast. They've started to bunker up. They've got plenty of players covering towards there, though Bay goes down. Now we're back to an even 3 versus 3. The nade confirming the kill, and they'll have to just drop the hatch. Mike right on the other side of the softball. Moses is the only one watching it. Weston alone to try and cover this trophy drop. Moses and Weston each get a kill from their respective positions, and Mike W finishes it. Each of the last 3 defenders getting a kill, and the round goes the way of Outlast.
And unfortunately, although you had everything accounted for in that round by Carry the Boats, it did just take a long period of time to get that ball rolling. There was so much utility stacked up by the top floor. Even the reinforcements deployed inside of, I think it was office, the connecting wall between that and master bedroom. So even if you get office control, you still have to commit a little bit more utility before even dealing with the guy by closet. So that just burned away so many seconds off the timer by Carry the Boats. And because of that lack of seconds left on the clock, I mean, yeah, they had to get kind of desperate. A good chunk of people just walking down trophy stairs from Solar side, and also someone else trying to drop down the hatch at the very last minute as well. And there wasn't really a lot of utility left over by the offense with having some players dead, like their Sledge and Flores, to then deal with the mirror windows and deployable shields that were still down below. So good job by Outlast, at least eliminating some of the core, I guess, operators when doing a full clear like that on the top floor. And now they're going to have to go into Master and Office with what it looks like to be somewhat of an extension over by Mezzanine looking into Library.
10 seconds left.
I like Outlast bringing out a new site, too.
5 seconds to insertion.
Master and Office for the first time this game. They've got the castle to help assist with that.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
And they've already picked off 3 drones in prep phase?
Exposed.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot.
Especially when you're still
actually
roaming a little bit,
Yeah,
too.
that's actually pretty good. I mean, they've got a Flores, so I guess it's not like the biggest deal in the world. But you're gonna have to maybe use some of those Roteros for info instead of actually like destroying stuff.
Do you have the Gemini as well? Bit of redundancy there, but
Ooh, he almost dies.
wow. And he just
And never
walks
mind.
off the Kiva. Yeah, now he is dead for real this time. Wimpy, nice opener. And no one is there to retake that position, especially with Inreal holding a cutoff angle. So even if someone tried to go for that, they'd probably die. And
Oh, nice
nice.
angle from Spiker. I think he saw the barrel from Hitman peek around the
Yeah.
corner because Cross is a pretty long gun, and he gets the fallback from Moses. Everybody on the defense is dead. Weston finds himself alone. Probably wondering what the hell just happened to the rest of his team in under a minute.
I don't know
That
what to
was,
say there. That was just
Not a pretty defense. Maybe don't go Master anymore.
Yeah, you know, we really like seeing this variety picked by Outlast on Master Bedroom. Well, not anymore. They are going to go back to Wine, the safer option out of the two, because they lost Bar and were demolished on Master just now. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, Bay just got naded and I guess thought he was going to die, so he's like, I might as well swing and hope I kill somebody before I go down, and that didn't work out. And then the second they realized Mez was up for grabs, hopped in a library. Outlast were still looking for a potential kill to kind of slow down, Carry the Boats. They lost another player because of that. And they had someone trying to flank. Spiker killed him too. And then, yeah, you're in a 5v2 going on 5v1 position. And there's just no way you can claw back from that. I mean, just the aggression was just punished really well by Carry the Boats. That's really what happened mainly in that round.
Bomb located by attackers.
Device primed. Keep an eye on door.
Are you thinking 4-2?
Mm,
Clear of last.
if Moses kills someone with that cap can, I'd
With the
think
cap
so.
can? That's going to
Yeah.
be the deciding factor.
Oh, Inrio saw him leave though.
I do like the.
I really hope he calms that.
It looks like there's even more of an emphasis on the roam now from the defense, right? With the Mozzie, the mute coming out
Yep.
in tandem. Because last time they defended this site, it was round 2. Oh no, they still had the Mozzie, but they swapped Malusi for Capcan. A little more entry denial, maybe trying to bank on the fact that the drone work might not be as strong. Mavericks coming out though from Wimpy, not an operator we see terribly often on Chalet. Well, really in general, but especially not on Chalet. This wall is infamously hard to mav unless Spiker's on the rappel. Unless they're just doing it for the top angle. That could be entirely possible too.
Yeah, Spiker is on rappel. That might give away the sole intention of this play, which is just to get a free kill off of it, and maybe open it up later if they want to. Help with like a skeleton key, or just play over towards the backside of the map. Yeah, there it
Here
is.
we go.
Good call for that. And yeah, Spiker gets a pretty straightforward opening kill because Weston is just in front of a soft wall where you can see someone from that breach.
Yep. You didn't know there was a mav there. So well done
It
to
happens.
Wimpy. There's a crouch level hole as well, just in case someone wants to play there for a cutoff later in the round, which you usually have when you're attacking wine, because that one little hole can cut the entirety of garage off from the defenders. EMP goes out, so does the breach. They've now got an avenue into wine from red. A lot of drones being cleaned up by the Maestro cam. 6 drones left now for Carry the Boats with 1.5 minutes. That's not too bad. He's the man with the case. Drip is all the way upstairs. Is he going to hunt down Bay? Or he might be like the lone man, maybe covering that hatch to make sure no one can peek into wine.
Oh yeah, one of the walls is soft.
He could open it from above.
There. Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, there we go. Now they can't play the hatch. Spiker actually
doesn't matter.
Just kills him from below. Nice shot from Spiker. Bay's all the way in the back of garage as Spiker gets the 3rd kill. There's no help for his anchors. Spiker's on a quad as Bay finds his first. And now he's on the hunt for the ace. Here comes the Iana. He gets it. Spiker. All 5 kills in the round. Our 2nd ace in Element 1 belongs to Brady.
And again, the assistance by the rest of his teammates, too, to get that ball rolling. Again, Wimpy on the Maverick, allowing a very easy first blood for Spiker. Then they move across the map to then assist with the primary attack, which is just getting the back wall opened up, leading into that little wine pillar, plant default. There's more accountability by the rest of Carry the Boats as well to have someone focus on the top floor, that being Drip. And having both him and Spiker worry about the guy above at the exact same time, it does make sure that even if, let's say, like Drip or Spiker died, the other person is going to like kill that player above, and then you can still push in and plant the diffuser. Because even if no one is sitting on that back wall by snowmobile, it's a really big risk to try and cross over from there, just to also be looking in through con as well. So you don't want to risk that potential of losing another body, giving back the man advantage or Carry the Boats, as they are also setting up for a post plant where you don't really have any avenues to play for a correct retake. So the adaptation there by Carry the Boats was pretty much perfect. To make sure they just don't fail the same bomb site after losing to a silly mistake.
I'm really concerned for Outlast now. As we've seen, Carry the Boats are an incredibly defender-favored team because of their play style. I feel like they really needed to run up the score on their own defense. Dropping 3 to Carry the Boats is definitely not ideal. It seemed like maybe the rehost, kind of took the wind out of their sails, maybe hurt them a little bit. But I think we're going to need to see like a convincing first attack from Outlast for them to still have a chance in this game, just because of how Carry the Boats plays.
Yeah, Bay's got to wake back up. That's something we're missing out on since the rehost, unfortunately. And just overall, on the side of Outlast too, they have kind of slept on a little bit. But hopefully in the attacking half, things could go a little bit more their way. Seems like for now, their library over. Clear has not had any major hiccups. Wimpy trying to spray through the wall looking for a potential freebie, but nothing comes above it. And now, with their being a little bit more info spotted out here by Bay, seeing that first black eye camera, can probably make a little bit more headway working into this top floor. But obviously, with it being dining room, with them not having a lot of vertical presence here in terms of operators, I can imagine they focus more on just getting that breach opened up and holding some longer angles to make sure no one's trying to play for vertical to stop a plant.
I love the Kiva physics in this game. They're so funny. Speaking of breach, down it goes, thanks to Mike W. So they've got that long angle from office all the way through to master. Giddy is, of course, playing said long angle as he is the doc. Spiker's lurking below, though. Might have info in lobby. He's waiting for a call for a C4. Up it goes, but the Thermite has already escaped the building. So, wasted C4 from the Valkyrie. Luckily, you've still got 2 left. One from Drip, one from Inrio. Moses, he's aware of the Valk now. He's going to go on the hunt. He sees the feet. This could be enough, but no, the bouncy para. Spiker is able to escape with only a shot or 2 connecting with his ankles, and that is a missed opportunity from Moses.
5-on-5 because of that, and the
Wait,
plant is just going down. What? Oh, and Mike is tucked behind the grass. Oh, but they still spot him. Major kill found by Wimpy. That's a diffuser left in no man's land. And Weston, he's got no more coverage. He's stuck behind the table with no one left to assist him. Hitman at least gets rid of Inrio. But yeah, there really isn't much going for the Lion right now besides I guess, almost winning that gunfight over by Kitchen. He'll finally be just about ready to cross over. Hopefully, nice shot landed with the DMR, and Hitman above, I think it is. Yeah, playing off the hatch, gets rid of Drip. I thought for sure once Wimpy had found that first blood on the round that there'd be no chance of bringing it back for Outlast, but I was proven wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they attempted the 5v5 plant. I thought it was gonna work. I'm not gonna lie. I was really gunning.
It almost
for it.
went
He
down.
almost had it down. Wimpy saved the day, but the trades from Outlast were flat out impressive. The fact that Weston was able to get into the site, that alone, like with Mike W, was incredible, and stay alive for that long, distracting Drip and distracting the player inside of West Main. They instantly traded out Wimpy after he got the planter, and that's the most important thing, the trades from Outlast. And while all that chaos was going on, they still had another guy upstairs. I said, right? I said Outlast are going to need a convincing first attacking round for them to, you know, inspire confidence again, and I think we saw just that.
Carry the boats maybe a little bit frustrated after losing that round. They'll opt to go back to dining room and kitchen. Kind of a similar lineup, it seems, as well. More info that's focused over on the library side of the map, as nothing has really changed by Outlast in terms of their composition. Even bringing the IQ back as well by Bay. So I could imagine they'd spot that little bit of info earlier in the round, just as they did in the 7th. So seeing what maybe Carry the Boats could replicate with maybe having some more pest active as well. It does seem like Spiker might be looking to play for a C4 if the opportunity presents itself, because he's right underneath bar and like all of that floor is soft essentially. But he'll have to wait a little while as that Lion Skinner goes off, create some space for his teammates, and the window's opened up right next to him too. Oh, and they've got a drone on him. This is really concerning for the Mozzie.
There's the C4. It does a lot of damage to Hitman, but it's no kill. And that may have just revealed its position, but Bay hops on it in any way. Just because you have a drone on that guy doesn't mean it's an advantageous fight. And now Weston gives away his life. Spiker with 2 really important opening picks. And that, again, the wind may have just been ripped out of Outlast sails because Bay thought he could hop in and challenge a 90-degree angle just because he had info. And Weston failed to trade. Now it's a 5 versus 3. I mean, you've lost your IQ with a Valkyrie on the board. You still got the necessary pieces to try and win a round, but it's going to be real rough.
We did see them bounce back from a pretty rough position at one point, but I think that already started at a 5 versus 5, so they are already downhill and haven't even begun to think about how they want to attack the actual bomb site itself. There's Mike catching Giddy by surprise, spots the gun barrel of the Azami. Hitman's looking to aggress now, but the Kiba saves him and even gets him a kill still before Mike trades them. Impressive utility usage there by the Azami, but through the hatch, Mike finds another. A triple kill for the Thermite. And now it's a 2v2 because of that, with over a minute for intel to still be gathered, and maybe the hopes of opening up the main breach and getting that plant down, because Thermite is still alive and still has hard breach.
Chat, what just happened?
Chat, is this real?
That may have been the most like impressively timed Kiba I've ever seen from Wimpy. That was insane. If they end up winning this round after that impressive flurry from Outlast, that could be why. But remember, still in a 2 versus 2. Mike W is instead going to use his Thermite charges for Vert. They're not worried about the breach anymore. Drip is on the other side of the map. Spiker's alone on site. He's also, holy crap, he's 11-2 after the rehost. That is crazy. This guy is almost single-handedly carry the boats. You got info on him, too. Oh, he's getting pre-fired through the wall. That's a hell of a lot of damage. In comes Mike W. He downs Drip. Don't call it a comeback, but there's only 1 kill left, and Moses finishes it off. Mike W. with a 4K. Moses with the last one. And Outlast ripped the round from Carry the Boat's hands.
And just to think, if we saw that round pan out just a little bit differently, like seeing a little bit more, I guess, passivity when you already had 2 opening kicks or kills found by Spiker, pardon, playing down below, we could have seen Carry the Boats probably just continue to have that man advantage in the late round and not be in an even 2 versus 2. That and also Mike playing off his teammate so well to still confirm that kill on the Azami, then play off the hatch and find another one. Just impressive work. Not again.
Oh, Mike.
Not
Mike
another
W.
T.
Dude, good job.
They can't keep getting away with this, Harrison.
First reaction. My voice is so hoarse. I can't do it properly.
Your voice is not a horse, Harrison. What is it with you and like confusing things with horses, man? That's like the third time.
I'm just so hungry.
So hungry. So hungry you could what?
How hungry?
Oh no. Don't bring that meme back up. I know what that reference is.
So it's dining twice in a row. 2 successful attacks from Outlast. Close, but successful. And at this point, Carry the Boats are now going to shift over to Bar Gaming. They've got the castle to help with that upstairs hold. That's going to be a lot for Outlast to try and cut through. Luckily, they've got the Flores, but they don't have a Zoe or an Ash. So it's largely going to be on him, most likely, to open up those castle barricades. This is a revolutionary spawn peek from Drip. Unfortunately, not going to find anything. He'll just fall back.
Seems now for a majority of Carry the Boats, they have kind
Oh,
of
they
followed
had a
that
hit.
same plan.
They just hid the castles.
Yeah, that would be probably the game plan of this, and probably some Habana pellets as well for the Kibas. Unless Flora is in a good spot to help assist there. I think Bay's playing by the single window near Highway, so he's probably just sitting on top of the roof throwing out, Flores drones. Oh no, he's even playing more aggressive. Maybe to look for an opener, but that castle barricade is kind of blocking him from doing that, so he'll have to reposition, probably get back on his gadget, and look to open up box to then deal with the castle. I think is still lodged in there. Yeah, Wimpy's just chilling right now.
As the Kiba gets destroyed, though, Hitman's just going to jump on in. Spiker gets dealt a lot of damage, and Hitman finds the finisher. The 1-2 punch from the Hibana opening the Kiba, and the Iana jumping on through. But Wimpy finds the quick refrag, still protected in the library connector. He'll get down the site as well. So we end up going 1 for 1. As the dust starts to settle, a minute 30 left in the round. We've expired about half. The Hibana gets caught out on rappel. Mike W destroyed by Wimpy and Moses, not there in time for the trade. It's an advantage for Carry the Boats now as top floor has been vacated. The hatch control now in the favor of the attack. That's not going to stop Carry the Boats from fighting it. In comes Bay, starting to soften up the wall. Deals a little bit of damage to Wimpy's toes, but the castle backs off. Now Outlast are in the hot seat. Even more so now after that C4 kill from Inrio.
Weston. Dangerous game here of cat and mouse. He expects someone by the
Cam's on him.
staircase, but the cam, yeah, so much info being fed to him. It's only Moses now, or fed against him, pardon. That leaves only Moses. They know he's playing up above. Technically a 1 versus 3, now 1v2 with Giddy being injured. 30 seconds left to go. He spots the blood. I think he heard someone down by stock. Someone's rezzing. That could theoretically put us in a 1 versus 1, but not enough time to react off it. Giddy gets picked back up. Still concerned about the player over by stock, but only 20 seconds to go. He's got to push in eventually, and he's not really in a position to kind of lead that charge in a demanding manner.
He's just trying to bait for kills right now. I think he knows
Yeah.
this round is pretty much over. Maybe taking this as kind of an impromptu timeout.
10 seconds remaining.
Finally Giddy peeks, but it's just a shoulder check. Not enough time for Moses to react.
Seconds to go.
The time will run down. Carry the Boats with a really nice refrag onto Hitman, and from there, the aggression carried them. No one from Outlast could really pick up that mantle after the Iana had that opening kill. Let me get one. Does Giddy still not have a kill? Is he still at
Really?
0? Because he was at 0 before the rehost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That-
he was 0. He and Inrio were both 0-3 before the rehost.
Oh, my God. Essentially winning a 4v5. I don't think we could say that much. Giddy's still bringing a lot utility-wise. But I think the biggest problem Outlast had was just no one there to assist the Iana. Like, after Hitman gets in and then loses his 1 for 1, Wimpy just leaves. But there's no one there to really play off of that vacancy on the top floor.
He's
And
still
there's-
at 0.
Oh my God, yeah, that's rough. That's rough for Giddy, man.
By attackers.
But yeah, it was only Hitman really making any kind of headway on that top floor. To think if you had, the other castle by box opened up, maybe Wimpy would have been forced to fall back earlier than playing as aggressive as he was to go for that other 1 versus 1. Then there never would have been a refrag on Hitman. You have more grenades to clear out the bomb site. A whole set of dominoes falls down in that round just because you have more utility to work with and you have a man advantage. But because it was just Hitman doing all the heavy lifting in that first minute, we didn't see any of that. rounds, and Wimpy got the refrag, went down to sight, and then everyone else on Carry the Boats kind of just demolished Outlast once they tried playing back down below.
By the way, fun fact. Last round was the first round in the entire game that Giddy survived. And he still got downed. It was close.
What?
Yeah.
We didn't rehost that late in the game.
Oh, he had what do you call it? He was 0 wasn't he 0-4 or 0-5 before? Oh no, he was 0-3. Never mind. I trolled.
Yeah. But like one of the only. That's still a really interesting fact.
He's 0, so he's 0-6.
Maybe not a
at least
fun fact.
He's
but an
only
enjoyable
down. He's
fact.
only died in the rounds that Outlast won, and then one other.
Ah,
Giddy is the win factor. I'm kidding. It's
it all
Spiker.
makes sense now.
Spiker's 11-4.
I was gonna say there's definitely no
This
other
guy-
player on this team.
This
that would
guy
be-
needs some help. Oh, Wimpy's not doing bad either. Wimpy's 6-3.
Yeah.
Outlast still in the advantage though, and they got Grim. John, we got a Grim.
your favorite operator.
My favorite, Grim.
Grim,
Shout
my
out,
beloved.
shout out, Frozen R6. resident Grim lover.
We need him as like our Grim analyst. We've been seeing a lot of Grim actually. I think
Bring him
every
on the
day he's
stream
been
just to
played.
talk about Grim.
Oh!
Oh, nice shot. Spiker, another opening pick. He's already got 3 this map so far. On to Moses. That's the Ash dead. Not a terribly important pick in terms of utility, but another now. That one's important as Hitman hits the floor. Spiker, 13-4 after the rehost. Bay finally cuts him down, but he's not even dead. And Bay almost gets traded. Carry the Boats are starting to mount a comeback.
Oh, Wimpy's itching to get this res off, but no. A dock stim will do just fine through the floor as well, and Spiker looking to take another engagement here. He bounces up into the bathroom. Mike's been injured. Wimpy the double spray down. It's just Weston playing below. And at this point, there's no chance of salvaging back this round. You've got 50 seconds to work with, like you mentioned earlier, maybe just to talk a little bit
Giddy.
with your teammates, pad the stats, and Giddy still hasn't found a kill. And immediately after, it's a bloodbath. Oh my goodness. Things are tied up once again, and Giddy still has not been able to find a kill. That is ridiculous.
Spiker, of course, getting those 2 opening picks in bathroom. He has really started to put the team on his back. Wimpy as well. Another 2 important ones. Carry the Boats have tied the score. You could be looking at another close game for Outlast. Although, I mean, Carry the Boats' last game was close too. It just ended 5-7, whereas Outlast, of course, went all the way to overtime. We're going to see a master bedroom defense from Carry the Boats now, rather than going down to basement. We saw how poorly this ended for Outlast. Actually, a little bit worried here.
Although Dining Room didn't work out either time, despite having a pretty good start, I'd say, in almost both rounds for the defense when picking that objective. So I guess maybe the idea is to kind of replicate some of that initial Dining Room extension, but have less to be concerned about in the mid-round, perhaps. On Outlast, going back to the IQ as well, seeing there's a bit more info focus. I don't... Have they gotten up the IQ in a majority of these rounds? They didn't. Yeah, they didn't have her last round because Bay was on.
They had her
Flores.
round 7 and 8.
Yeah, I think they've only had it for like more of the dining attacks until now.
Yeah.
Then we saw a change up onto like Bravo and Flores instead. So yeah. But you know, given the fact that there's an operator that's hard countered by IQ, I guess it makes sense. Oh, Enrio just spotted.
Oh
no! He spotted Bay the first time, but didn't want to give away his position. And then Bay just turns around and kills him anyways. That's the Warden dead. You hate to see it.
I feel for Enrio there. That was just sad.
Yup.
I'm sure Outlast are happy though, starting with an opening pick. They get the Warden.
Yeah.
Giddy looking to swing. He misses
He
the shot,
wants it
takes
so
some
bad.
damage. Oh, dude, he just wants to. Giddy doesn't even care about winning anymore. He just wants to kill. He just wants to get on the board. Nice shot from Spiker. Again, dude, this guy just can't be stopped.
They just gotta like stop peeking him 1v1, man. It's ridiculous.
Dude, at
Like,
this
just
point,
wait for your
scan him.
teammates.
Like, scan him to find out what op he's playing, and then don't peek that op.
Or please just try to push them together. I can't count on my fingers the amount of time someone's pushed Spiker one-on-one because he has over 10 kills. I don't have that many fingers, man. And now Drip's here to back him up too, so even if they try to push him out at this point, doesn't really seem to matter. Really seems after losing just Bay on the board, they've slowed down a whole lot. But no, Kitty! Off the soft wall, he dies to Weston.
No.
Give this guy a break, please.
Oh, I know Giddy's fuming. I know Giddy's fuming after that one. Oh,
Bro,
wow,
can't
that
catch a
is so
break.
sad.
Oh.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
he
he can't
shot
get
the
the- he can't
C4
get the
off the
C4
ceiling,
off.
and then it landed on the bar.
Oh yeah, because it's flopped out of the side. That sucks.
Another sad occurrence in this round. Speaking of sad, Mike W is trying desperately to get the
There it is.
mute off the wall. Finally, he's got a teammate to help him with that. Hitman, a nade kill onto Wimpy. Drip gets a run-out kill, almost refragged once he jumps back in. Spiker holding the long angle, don't peek him. Mike W is now getting the plant down, but Hitman's in a
No
frost
way.
mat, and Spiker gets the cover! It's all up to Mike! He gets the World Eater 1v1! Mike W up against Drip. 35 seconds remaining. Hitman, maybe he can call out info from where he is. He can call the piano push-up. Mike W's got to try and take advantage of that, especially with Drip not having C4, but he doesn't need it. He backs up, takes the long angle, and Drip peeks him. 1 HP for Mike W, but it's enough to win the round and put his team on match point.
And at least for Carry the Boats, I think they have the option to go back and play Bar, which was their most impressive site defense by far in this second half. That and, of course, their third attempt back on the dining room. Once again, seeing the continuous one-for-one peaks onto Spiker, which I think that was like...
Oh my god.
Oh, there it is.
I'll
I'll say, I think that was almost a 4K by Spiker that round, right, Harrison? Because the Frost Mat would have killed him if Mike had died. So that
I
is...
think you're right.
Spiker is like... Spiker is playing like he's in SI right now. Like, he's got the most passion I've ever seen in this game. Just for Giddy to have no kills right now.
Brady's a passionate player.
That is true. You and I both have casted him in T3 for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Dude,
you
I've
more
casted him.
specifically, too.
Yeah, I've casted him since, what was it, like H&C, I think was the team?
I don't even know what that means. You're speaking another language to me right now, so yeah.
Yeah,
you got
been
seniority.
around. Spiker's been around. Holy crap, I think I've been casting him since he was like 14 or 15.
Oh my
That's how
God.
long it's been. That's how long I've seen Spiker play. I gotta ask him if they ever end up winning a day that I'm casting and I get to interview Spiker. I gotta ask how it feels to get freed, right? Because recent times, right, with like AAA and in Pro League, he was kind of like a flex support. He
Yep.
started as an entry. Now he's back to his roots, and this brother is thriving.
Could you imagine, like, Spiker just gets, like, stomped out this round, too?
He's 15. Wait, so what is he? He's 17-8 right now.
Oh, my God.
Could we see the Brady 20 bomb?
We might. And an ace. Dude, we already saw that happen.
Yeah.
Truly a whirl year, like you mentioned. Oh,
All that for Giddy to be 0-8.
Yep. Could you imagine Slayer was playing this game?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I'm sorry, Giddy. I love Giddy.
yeah, we really do. Back in the good old
Ooh.
days of T2.
That was a hacked cam, I think, for the attack. Spiker was able to get right by it. You might not know about this flank, although he's not really flanking anyone actively as of right now. The closest player would, I guess, be the guy over towards the office balcony, the Lion of Weston. He's going to go ahead and pop open the door, it looks like. Spiker sees him, but can't pull the trigger. Weston able to get an opening pick, though. It's not a kill just yet. Looks like he really wants to confirm it. He might be like, hey, that might be Spiker. I gotta get that guy. And there it is. Weston may have just won the game for his team with that one kill. Is Wimpy the next to go down? And oh no, the chances for Carry the Boats to bring this round back have just diminished. Inrio's got something to say though. So does Drip as they bring it back to even 3v3, and Inrio gets the hell out of there. He's off the top floor, and Carry the Boats have brought this round back.
Still have a nade, though. A couple of flashes, too, to make some space, and not really any utility to postpone that, with everyone, for the most part, playing down below. But Drip is going on a massive flank here. If there's no intel to feed that back into Outlast, this could actually be a round changer. But did he double back down below?
Stairs, yeah.
Oh.
Because the cam, remember the cam and solar?
Yeah, there was info on him. That's right.
Yeah, that's Outlast's cam, thanks to the Brava, the power of Brava. He's a really good operator, especially on Chalet, where you hack like 3 default cams, 3 or 4, and you get full view of almost every flank on the map. Hitman sends a nade down, trying to kill someone behind the bar, but doesn't hit. Mike W trying to make bar stock more exposed. That's a good one, but Drip's right here, and he looks up at the stairs. The timing! That gives Outlast the lead again. 3 versus 2, but it's not undoable. Carry the boat still in this with how low the time is, but he's looking up at the hatch, and Rio goes down, so does Giddy. He ends on a donut, and Outlast ends up with a win, getting the upset over Carry the Boats.
And being able to play more consistently as a team in that last round as well, it showed a major difference for that round specifically. I mean, even general team play as well was most certainly there. Sure, there were a couple of flubs when dealing with Spiker, but I think after a good point in time, Harrison, the world leader, had to be silenced, and that was the case for round number 12. And yeah, just to think as well, having maybe Sweater in that game, we could have seen Carry the Boats win, because I don't want to harp on Giddy too much, but in terms of kills, they played a 4v4, and they still made it that close. And there were a lot of times where Giddy was taking a 1v1 and he just lost it.
Dude, like the lion jumping in through the window.
Yeah,
Oh,
that one was I don't even know how to word
I feel
that.
so bad for him. It was so sad.
Yeah.
Giddy ended up going, unfortunately, 0-9. Wimpy did pretty well. I mean, Spiker was dropping a bomb, man. But Mike W, Hitman, doing really well. And of course, we have to mention Weston. Coming back, showing up for his team, going, I believe, 10-9. So he was dying a lot, but he had 10 kills. He dropped double digits. Very influential. Kind of makes me think, what would have happened last week if Outlast had their full 5. But of course, same thing goes for, like you mentioned, what if Sweater was playing. And there's always room for speculation, but the fact of the matter is, Outlast send Carry the Boats down to that 0-2 bracket.
It's really funny to look at some of the stats as well, just from my notebook. Weston, 2 of the entry kills, I think 2 of the only openers he had that game, were both on Spiker. And Outlast had won both of those rounds. Just goes to show how important someone just playing consistently.
I'm telling you, he was the win condition. He finished 17-9. Of course.
I can't stop laughing at it, man.
Of course.
I can't. It's
we had
just
to have
impossible to not laugh at that.
We gotta have the teehees. Wimpy, I think, also dropped double digits. Yeah, 11 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
They started 5-1, right? We were talking about, wow, Bay's having a much better game. He finished 9-9.
Not horrible. And better than last time.
Yeah, all around, much more of a team effort from Outlast, I think, is the moral of the story, too, right? Up against SSGA,
Absolutely.
Hitman was super consistent. Then your next guys, I mean, they had 9 kills, but they were both negative. And then you had people like Bay way at the bottom. Now you got Weston back. It seems like the team cohesion is a whole lot better. And we're just waiting for the stats to come up so we can finally take a look at those. I'm happy for Outlast. They've had a big turnaround. They're now 1-1, and Carry the Boats, I think, are a team that none of us really expected to be in this position at all. 0-2. We thought they were one of the teams that were going to make it to playoffs.
And I think a lot of that as well having to do with, especially this game, just the lack of discipline in some rounds too. Like, you have a really large man advantage from someone like Spike or even anyone on that team getting a nice opener here and there. And then you've got, for example, when they were playing on Dining Room in both rounds number 7 and 8, I think round 8 specifically, where Outlast should not have won that round. Everyone just kind of over peaks into them, and Mike gets a triple kill. And then he plays in tandem with his other teammate who's still alive. I think it was Moses that round. I thought it was Bay because Bay was playing Raw from time to time. But no, it was actually Moses that round. Both of them worked together, playing both above on some of that vertical and also from West Main. And that 2v2 just became completely losing for Carry the Boats. So having some of those rounds that were kind of, neck and neck, being won just narrowly by Outlast. Funny enough, kind of the same storyline for Carry the Boats against Osiris the other day too. That went a really long way for their opponents to just flat out win towards the end. Funny enough, 7-5 as well.
And a similar theme too was the entry game. Look at the stats. from Carry the Boats, right? 7 entry kills. They only won 4 of those rounds that they got the entry in. Meanwhile, Outlast, sure, they only had 5 entries, but they won 4 of them. If Outlast can just be a little more consistent in that early round, I think they can find a lot of success. But Carry the Boats have to figure something out. Because just like when they were up against Osiris in a 7-5 win, they had the opening pick 8 times. 8! And they only won 5 of those rounds.
So, speaking
something
of,
that they're going to have to improve.
yeah. Again, speaking of just general consistency for Outlast, we saw it in against SSG Academy when they were playing them until overtime hit. And, well, they go back to Chalet. That same consistency is still there, so at least they stave off elimination. And moving in our next game for SSG Academy, I really wonder how that game will kind of pan out as well against Osiris, because they also kept things, pretty back and forth between Carry the Boats. They had, I didn't even say a lot of hero play rounds as well on Oregon. It was just kind of good timing on the decisions they were opting to go for against Carry the Boats. They see a 3v3, someone's looking at a different angle, and they're like, well, we can't just sit here forever and stall before planning. Like, we got to get in the site and just make some magic happen. So maybe we'll get a map where that is allowed, perhaps.
Yeah, and actually that Osiris SSGA game, I don't know how I feel about my vote with that one anymore. But we can head right into the interview, finally talk to a member of Outlast. Hitman's the only person I've talked to before, but instead it's Sammy.
How's it going?
Sammy, the coach.
Oh, yeah.
So, Sammy,
Yep.
talk to me. Outlast, right? They were saying that against SSGA, they felt like they should have had it, but the nerves got to them. What was the big difference you saw between last game and this one here?
The caliber of opponent, I guess you could say. So nothing against the guys on Carry the Boat, but they're really all really good players. But obviously SSG Acad is going to be under a pretty strict system. They're going to be able to get things going a little bit more. They've got call out as like a, I don't know, like you say, like a grandparent coach. I don't even know.
He's like helping out.
Yeah, kind of. And so
yeah.
that helps. And I'm sure Yardy does a good job because like he's done coaching before, so whatever. But they're more of a pug stack, so that's part of it. Other thing was we finally got our 5 back, and so a lot of the small issues that we have already came back up because we had 4 of the 5. We had Space as a sub. Space is a phenomenal player, but there's just that chemistry that gets a little bit off sometimes, as you know. And so I think it's kind of a culmination of a couple of those things. Some people had their first games in any like really high tier competitive play before, and so I know a couple of the guys kind of felt some shakes in the first game, and we got a good day of scrims yesterday, or played some ranked yesterday, played some scrims today, came back for it.
Yeah, and speaking of having your full 5, the way the roles work too, because Space is almost like a career like fragger. He's always on those really entry heavy roles, and now you get Weston back, who seems to be more kind of like that support flex, right? So what does Weston bring back to the team specifically that really meshes everything together?
I want to say familiarity, just because Parker's played with, or Moses has played with Weston for so long. He can lean back on Weston in a lot of areas. Weston and him have been kind of doing this, not necessarily a duo, but they kind of can read each other really well. And so Parker doesn't have to spend a whole lot of time being like, hey, go do this, go do that. He just like lets Weston walk off and be the I guess glue to a team, because Weston doesn't have a very loud role. He's not super in the match. People a lot of times say, oh yeah, he's just sitting outside and he's baiting his teammates and he's always last alive. And it's kind of because he has a very boring role, I guess some people might say. A lot of people don't like playing that role, but he does it very well. And so it helps the team a lot.
Yeah, I think especially as kind of like one of those support players, not needing to be micromanaged, really helps a team out. And tell me too, the strategy going back to Chalet that you just played 14 rounds on and lost, was the team kind of banking on the fact that Carry the Boats are just kind of a pug stack and you guys felt like you maybe should have won that map before? Was it just Chalet, you guys love the map in general? What was the plan going back?
We do enjoy a good Chalet. I would say it's between, like, we looked at the maps that we had, later in the ban phase, and the guys thought it was probably our best bet. We feel really comfortable in Chalet. We honestly thought we could have won, or we knew we could have won the game on Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday it was.
Yeah.
We knew we could have won that game. We've always had a pretty strong Chalet, and we played it in scrims earlier, and made us feel a little good. Everybody was kind of happy with it. So I think those were a couple of the things. Being able to have the 5 back, not having to worry about strats too much, or doing some micromanaging. I think it just made the map make a lot more sense with what we had on Intel.
Okay, and obviously we got to shout out Spiker. Guy was dropping a nuke, 17 and 9.
Insane.
Especially
Insane.
coming from I always hear it from players, but coming from a coaching role, how do you react to seeing one dude shutting down almost your entire team, and how do you want your players to kind of react to that in the server?
Pray. You just sit back. I mean, like, there's not much. You can't be like, okay, just shoot back. There's not like a strategy to like not dying to somebody. If he's just like going ballistic out of his mind. There's some teams that we play against that every single time, every single map we play against them, they have that one person. And so I guess it gives us a bit of an advantage with like figuring out where that person is, isolating, stuff like that. But we don't necessarily be like, okay, we found Spiker, let's go kill him. It's kind of just like, if the team sees what's happening, if there's one player that has found this crack in our play, in our teamwork, we know to seal that, because next time they try to come for that, we can pounce then. But we're not necessarily being like, okay, Spiker's Warden, okay, we're finding him. No, it's not like that.
All right, cool. Well, Sammy, congrats on your guys' first win. You stave off that elimination for now. Pleasure talking to you for the first time. Tell the guys I said congrats too, and have a very good night.
Hey, you too. Have a good one.
So, John, that wraps up game number 2, and that means we're done with the losers bracket games. We're done with the 0-1 teams. We get to see now, instead of sometimes the disheartening sending a team down to the elimination bracket, we get to send someone to promotion. And first, it's going to be Osiris versus SSG Academy, Bio versus Snake. That's going to be a really exciting one. So you're going to want to stick around. Have no fear, we'll be back in just a few minutes.